glass eyes, more properly known as ocular prostheses, have been used since at least 2800 BC. The body of a woman in Iran was found with a golden orb replacing a missing eyeball. A gold wire used to keep it in place, having left a mark in her socket, showing she wore the object during her life. Glass began to be used in the 16th century in Venice, and remained the standard material until the 1940s. Coloured glass in shades of blue, brown, grey and green were used to carefully match the colour of the iris and pupil, with red glass used to imitate small blood vessels. Glass eyes were not solid balls, which would be too heavy, but rather were hollow shells. German craftsmen had become the world leaders in producing glass eyes, but due to supply ceasing because of World War II, American technicians developed acrylic replacements. Today, most artificial eyes are made of plastics or bioceramics, which, considering the problems some folk had with glass eyes, must be a relief to those who require them today. Glass eyes would sometimes shatter without warning. In an article about glass eyes published in the Queenslander of the 28th of March 1903, it was said they exploded frequently and needed to be replaced as often as spectacles. Despite this apparent frequency, newspapers occasionally reported on glass eye explosions, often as if they were a novelty. A Canadian school teacher, Ronald Folsom, of Warner, Ontario, in 1922 was knocked to the ground when his glass eye exploded. It was thought a flaw in the pupil had caused it to fail, and that a piece of glass had struck a nerve in such a way as to cause him to collapse. At Bealiba, a small town in the Victorian Gold Country, in 1944, hot weather in December caused the glass eye of Cyril Peck, JP, to expand and shatter. His eye socket was damaged and the glass fragments needed to be removed at hospital. When asked about this incident by a journalist, a Melbourne oculist said he recalled a woman was sitting in the sun one day when her glass eye exploded. She at first thought her young son had thrown a stone at her. Another customer had his head out of a train window, enjoying a cool breeze, when his glass eye exploded. He was so stunned he thought he'd been hit by another train coming in the opposite direction. The oculist added that due to the difference in soda glass and lead glass, Australian-made glass eyes were less likely to shatter than imported ones. Carl Packmeyer of Kokomo, Indiana, was asleep when his glass eye exploded in December 1945. Doctors said he suffered painful injuries, which were, however, not serious. An Australian constable was asked about this American case. Constable Harold Sears had worn a glass eye in his left socket for 18 years, since an injury caused by a golf club. He recalled how soon after he began wearing the eye, he boarded a tram and was met by a gale of laughter from the other passengers. He'd inserted the eye the wrong way around. After that he carried a pocket mirror with him. One day his had broken while he was at work. He felt a stinging pain behind the eye, but couldn't see any cause when looking in a mirror. He asked a colleague from the traffic division to take him to hospital. As they were going there in a police motorbike and sidecar, the traffic cop couldn't resist chasing down and pulling over a speeding motorist and booking them. At hospital, doctors found the thin glass wall at the back of the eye had broken and removed the splinters. Sears remarked that the eyes became stained over time and were replaced every few years. He was on his sixth one in 1945. At Adelaide, on February the 11th, 1951, a sudden drop in temperature was blamed for the explosion of a 53-year-old woman's glass eye. It had been over 101 degrees Fahrenheit during the day and fallen to 72 degrees in the evening when the eye gave out, as the woman listened to a radio program with a friend. She said it felt like a blow, but like the others mentioned, she had the shards removed at hospital and sent home. It happened for the second time to Darcy Vent of Brisbane in April 1952. The 20-year-old was having his breakfast when the glass eye exploded. He suffered serious injury and was treated in hospital. Radiopedia.org, a website devoted to issues involved in radiology, reported a case by Rosemary Blashett of Temora, New South Wales from 1974, of an elderly man who had worn a glass eye for 42 years. He heard an explosion in his head when it broke. He was the last person in Australia to have one of this particular type of artificial eye.